I have a trigger word for me that makes me feel weird, which is the word bullying. I always think that's weird because I come from a kind of a tough town, and bullying. Salty. Bullying used to mean, and by the way, you wouldn't even complain about this. I was tackled at one point during football practice. They ripped my underwear off. It ripped my asshole. And then they twisted my titties so they turned purple. About? The point is, that's bullying.
They must have been playing Smear the Queer.
Episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm sat up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Across the table is one Patrick, producer of the Irish Bug Hickey.
Hi, everybody. Go ahead, tell him, Dylan.
Yeah, you guys may notice a difference in overall quality of the audio of this podcast. It might sound like shit to you. And that is because
it's not my fault, dude.
We can no longer record in the studio that we once did. You remember how Pat was tearing down the walls and bringing jacuzzis in to pleasure people who left great reviews on our podcast?
We warned him how excessive it was. It could only lead to bad things. The risk outweighed the reward.
Yeah, bunch of candles laying around a jacuzzi.
Dude, that place was a fire hazard before we ever started there.
Some shaky woman knocked over a bunch of candles with the place on fire. That's fine. I would
glad to see we have the engagement, though.
I would say that barring a couple too many highlight reels, this was a wonderful episode of television.
Yeah, 2 hours. It need not be, but yeah, there was a ton of highlights that I'm excited to dissect.
It was so funny. ABC just kind of like brought this show behind the barn and just put it out of its misery. Like it wasn't even on ABC. What channel was it on?
For me, it was channel 56.
It was on some ABC affiliate channel.
All right. So to be fair,
there
was a hurricane, which is on Tuesday night, meaning that they couldn't just move to the next night because ABC had already scheduled.
Explain to me how the hurricane.
ABC has a fundraising show on Tuesday. Taking up basically 8 o'clock at night through 11. It's a fundraising thing for hurricane whatever.
Never heard of this before.
You didn't hear that you weren't going to get to watch The Bachelor in Paradise on ABC last night until you turned it on, and there it was not.
Well, it was because of the football game.
Because of the football game.
It was.
Because nationally it wasn't like that. Nationally, the football game was on ESPN only, but it had to be shown in locally LA, so it changed channels. On most channels, it was just on regular. In most places in the nation, it was on regular ABC.
You're spending way.
Who gives a fuck?
If we're referencing the fact that we had to go to a different channel, it is important to note for the rest of the nation why. Because it wasn't like that for them.
I would like to say, though, I agree with Dylan's initial thought, which is that ABC was done with this season of Bachelor in Paradise.
And were we. You guys want to jump into this?
Let's do it, dude. And by the way, I'm so happy to still be alive, for one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still receiving phone calls from Geico Insurance Claims Department questioning the activities of last week. That being said, I'm glad we're here to finish this season off together. Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you feel that way. Also, really wish you wouldn't have burnt the studio.
Same.
Thanks, Nick.
The person responsible for this sound quality should be shot.
Yeah, he's like,
Patrick.
I'm so glad I'm alive. Like, it's great to be here. You burnt down the place that we pumped out amazing podcasts in.
Glossing over the atrocities you left behind you like Dean.
Jesus Christ. Good Segui. Chris Harrison walks up and tells everybody that this almost did not happen. I, for one, kind of wish that it did not because I am so beyond over the show. But again, really good episode. He essentially tells everybody, look, if it's going to work with somebody, go have sex. If it's not, cars are out front. And they clear out quick.
Most of these people do not want to have sex with most of the other people.
Yeah. It's a game of numbers.
Now, hold on. All right, so I'm going to get ahead of myself. But basically, yes, Chris Harrison basically says, hey, if you want us leave as a couple, we're going to provide you with a hotel room, get some alone time, and that's where you guys will have some intimacy and what have you. Are you telling me that these people, I mean, this was a large resort these guys were on. These guys aren't like banging like bunny rabbits the last 4 weeks. They've been saving it up till Chris Harrison tells them they can finally start banging.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. We definitely know that Dean entered a couple different people.
Or not.
What do you mean, or not?
I'll bring that up later.
Okay, hot takes. Hey, he departs, tells everybody, work it out. Jasmine gives a little advice to Lacey, which perfectly encapsulates the depths of the relationships on the show. She says, do not talk to him. Don't talk to him. Just make out with him.
Sound advice.
Pretty much Jasmine's go-to move in any and all situations. Hey, Jasmine, what do you want for breakfast? Makes out with you.
Yeah.
First up, I believe, is Jack Stone and Scallops.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack Stone pulls aside Scallop, and he basically starts, like, within a second of her sitting down, says, so I just want to let you know I've developed feelings, and I would like to leave as a couple. And she's like, huh? All we've talked about is the weather for the last 4 days. I don't know who you are.
Who would have thought that Kristen, who you declared that homely little rat, would be the biggest pimp on this island?
She got a lot cuter, dude.
Okay. That is so yucky.
Don't you like how I can evolve, though? I can turn from a shallow, horrible person to someone who can actually see the inside of someone. And
I wouldn't really call that an evolution.
I feel like you're still talking about her boob job.
Yeah, no. Don't think you've grown at all. Before that, he says that there's nothing he wants more than a wife and a couple kids, which sounds like the mantra of a closeted gay man. I want a wife. I want kids.
Okay, so with Kristen, again, this is all right. So when she seemed kind of weirded out when he was like, "Hey, should we leave as a couple?" And she's like, are you asking me that for real? Like, wait, so you're actually asking, should we leave together as boyfriend and girl? That I'm kind of taken aback by that. I forgot, guys. I've been watching a show, this franchise, for 8 months, where on a regular basis, people know each other for less than 3 weeks and are talking about getting engaged. Yeah. She's the normal one here.
Right, exactly.
She's the one who is breaking down, busting us with some goddamn truth. Yeah. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, why is she so weird right now? I'm like, no.
It's because you love her. That's why. Mm-hmm. Because she handles this situation like a boss. He walks in there like a weirdo, saying, let's leave as a couple, hand in hand. I don't know about couple. It's not a couple. We're not a couple. We're leaving hand in hand. I don't really want to do hand in hand. It's not going to be hand in hand, okay? Can we start over?
He actually said that. Can we start over?
It just goes backwards and backwards.
I literally think he was trying to manipulate the edit. Like, seriously, can I just take that again? Because I don't want that to go down like that. It was weird the way he kept saying that, because he also said that in his little OPS.
I think he also
Don't change your mind. We should do this again.
I think he also made the fatal flaw that most men do. When you've been playing a little tonsil hockey with a broad for a couple days, you think like, What the fuck? Of course she's leaving with me. She's insane like the rest of these broads. Oh no, this one had a head on her shoulders, albeit rat-like.
Good Lord, yeah.
Homely and little, lest we not forget.
He's taken aback. I think some of the greatest moments in this show are when people are like genuinely surprised by what's happening. And he's like, this is so weird. And it's not weird. It's like a fairly normal occurrence, just somebody not reciprocating.
Exactly.
I think he kind of grasped how weird it came across, and he was like, this is just piling on to my serial killer persona, and he didn't want that to happen.
His run on this show ended with a whimper.
Let this be a tale of a cautionary tale to all of you going to be on Bachelor in Paradise next season. Leave before your time is up. Like, be the guy that walks out when two chicks are fighting over you. Go out on a good note. Don't stick around to the janitors sweeping the floors and they're like, why are you still here?
What is really, really weird is the send-off for Kristen. Very bizarre. She goes into the ocean as though that is how she's going to leave this island. And something that I didn't really notice at first viewing, does that make sense?
Yes.
Was a little something that happened with Kristen, which Nick pointed out while we were watching it. It's one of the greatest moments on the show this season.
She got one of many instances of people getting blindsided on this episode. Yeah. She got destroyed by this wave.
Mom, nice turn of phrase, by the way. Yes, she was blindsided.
Hammered. She got hit so hard by that fucking wave.
If she is, in fact, a scallop or even scallop-like, you would think she'd be able to take that much more pro-like.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. She's just a shell in the sand. That's where you find scallop. Okay, you know what? We got to deal with a couple other couples. Again, they're really clearing out. Tickle goes up to Jasmine. I love the move. He gets ahead of it, and he says, "Listen, I don't think that it's going to work out between me and you." And she said, "Yeah, why not?"
No, I agree. It was PR at its finest. He said it first, so you knew Jasmine was desperate. It left you questioning: would she, if she decided first, reached out and asked him to continue?
It's weird. I never thought that she was going to do that on account of he's just so incompatible with every human being on this planet. I don't see a mate for him.
I said on the last podcast, he looks like a Muppet. Cue the music.
You're just going to do that to him?
He can cut it out later.
And then what do you want to do with the music? Now the music's playing.
Dun, 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 dun. Then that's it. Just plays like 5 seconds of it. Or not. Oh. What Tickle did, smart man. He got out before the headline. He created his own narrative.
We spent way too much time on it. Let's move on to Dean and Danielle, eh? God, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a special breed, I tell you.
Isn't he?
To me, this was a second instance of someone getting blindsided.
Yeah.
Yes. Although, I guess just much like Kristen, she handled it just cold-blooded. She took it like a champ and did not show any emotion.
Yeah, got hit right in the
face. Let's remind the audience what took place. So D'Lo and Dean sit down, and he says to her right off the bat, I woke up this morning, I had a realization. I can't stop thinking about when I sent Kristen packing. And I've thought about her, and I have strong feelings for her, so pretty much I think we should leave separately.
And then, after the show, he was with...
Hold on!
And her name was Christina.
Dean says this to D'Lo, then he cries. Little pussy.
I feel like he's trying to get a rise out of her. He's so one for the drama, he's such a little fucking bitch.
Hey, guys, news alert here. What's it called when I have one of those things where I'm about ready to give you guys some information?
You know what it's called, Patrick?
No, I don't.
Patrick?
I can see it in your eye.
You know exactly what it's called.
It's called a hot take. Are you ready for it? Okay. So, get this. So, Dean spends an outrageous amount of time with D-Lo on not an island, trying to get in her pants and get rid of Lipstick Eater. And once he gets D-Lo and Lipstick Eater is not there.
She deserves to be called by her first name.
I don't even know what it is. What is it, Christina or something? All right, so I have a theory that D-Lo was kind of a dick tease those last couple of weeks. He didn't get to have sex with her like he wanted to.
Oh.
So he's like...
You are so good with these. That is such a great hot take.
As a sex addict and a narcissist would do when... him being...
You.
No, but it takes one to know. So Dean did not get sex from D-Lo, and he started getting frustrated. And the only way he can get back at her is to send her packing on national TV, and I'm doing quotes with my fingers, and then say he wants Christina, because she was putting out.
I feel like you didn't need to say that you were doing quotes. Like, usually you do, but I feel like you could just hear the fact that you were quoting when you were just quoting. I'm really confused as to how he thought this was going to work.
It wasn't going to work. D-Lo doesn't seem too bummed out by receiving this news, by the way.
No, she does not. And I love that take because it totally makes sense. I mean, we knew that he was bullshitting about the whole loving Christina thing, but then, God, the temptation to get ahead of myself is just so fierce right now.
We got a lot more pod to do, dude.
I'll tamp it down.
I feel ya.
Can we wrap up the last two fools?
Let's move on to Diggy and Don and Jamie.
Last three fools.
Yeah.
Do you want to just do a quick roll call on how this went down?
Do you want to just say they all went home and we can move on?
Actually, I'd rather do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite couple of the evening, I shouldn't say that, second favorite, Amanda and Robbie. This was entertaining. Robbie says he's on cloud nine, very confident, because I think that he thinks his looks outweigh his personality, which they do not. It's hard to outweigh those looks. I mean, he's a handsome guy, but he does a damn fine job. He says that he wants to start a clan with Amanda. And then...
All right, so the Robbie, as I agree with you, Dylan, the Robbie and Amanda thing was great TV. This is the best part of the whole show.
Yeah.
Robbie pulls Amanda aside, and he says he wants this to be their love story. And it says one of the more gag reflex quotes of the night. He says he can't wait till there's a bunch of little Robbies running around.
Oh, man. I missed that, but that's amazing. That's amazing. So she's devastated because I think, like, it's kind of what you would feel. It's a messy situation, dragging someone along for weeks so that you can use them as a means to an end to remain on this island. And then at the end, when they're dumb and they're like, I fucking am so excited for us, you have to be like, oh.
I just can't get visions of little tiny babies in diapers with just Robbie heads on them with his comb over and beady little coked out eyes.
Yeah, sweating.
Teeth. But yeah, I think Pat wanted to hit us with a clip.
This clip, watch this. This is Amanda. This is Amanda saying, I want the audience to watch this clip. She's crying and she says, he actually thought we'd leave together, as she cries.
You don't want to try things out.
I don't. You really see that?
Yeah. It just hurts that you have to ask that.
I'm sorry.
Remove the crying, and what does that actually sound like? You fool! You actually thought we'd leave together. This is my fourth run on one of these fucking things.
It's a new setup. Pat's usually further away from us. which is kind of really nice.
You have referenced the vein.
Locked eyes with you so hard.
You have referenced how vascular. Both of us have mentioned the vascularity of Patrick, and it was not ever more evident than just now when it was 6 inches away. No.
Enough about me, gentlemen. Enough about me. Let's talk about this bitch. Can she go get impregnated? Can she go get impregnated by like a professional basketball player?
I hate that.
All right. But let me say one last thing.
I shouldn't talk. I've called her terrible things. But.
She threw him away like a used Kleenex, as predicted by me. Vegas, you do not want me betting on this show.
Just addressing Vegas.
Patrick's coming to town and he's got a fat wallet and he's ready to wager on some reality TV.
Where do I lay down for Bachelor in Paradise?
All right.
What are you talking about?
All right, sir. It's a $250 maximum bet. We can't allow high-stakes gambling on this stuff that already happened.
So check it out. I thought the funniest part of this whole Amanda and Robbie thing is when she's crying, she asks him, like, seriously, though, did you really think that this was going to happen? And he said, it hurts that you asked me that. Terrific night of television.
Dare I say, Amanda at some point says she doesn't see a future outside of Paradise because this has not worked before.
Very different situation before.
Well, why are you here? It hasn't worked before. Obviously, going on television and finding a guy and date him for 2 weeks and then introduce him to your parents is not working.
Listen, I don't want to ride in like a white knight. Because again, I've said terrible things about Amanda, but as previously stated, she's got to increase her cachet. That's how she's going to take care of her children. I think she does the right thing with Robbie. We find out that she
absolutely
does not. Which full circle, Amanda fucking sucks. Okay, so. Chris comes in and tells the 3 remaining couples that everyone has left. And they kind of poorly feigned surprise. Everybody's like, oh, wow.
What else are they going to do, you idiots? If they're not going to stay together, you got to go.
Yeah. He tells them for probably about the 12th time that the fantasy suite is on the horizon, and Taylor does a full quagmire. It is like the long drawn back smile and the head nod. Like Taylor is ready to go.
He is moist.
She says that, doesn't she, or something?
No, he just wanted to say that.
I started to
like that. He wanted to say that like that.
I started to regret it, like. Right on that sound, but I followed through anyways.
So the first victims in the fantasy suite.
What did you just say?
I started to regret the fact that I said it was going to say moist, but then...
Oh, you just powered through.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Hey, let's talk about Lacey and Daniel, eh?
Let's. She's insane.
They go into that fantasy suite, and she's so horny for him. As is Daniel, because he walks into that fantasy suite and he's looking around like, we're going to have sex everywhere in this room.
Until she gets broken in half completely. She's getting
poor thing.
Gentlemen, I don't like to disrupt the show. I don't like to get off topic, but I have to say this. At some point when we were watching...
The term broken in half, I just feel like it's very...
Mm-hmm.
It's yucky. It's a little intense.
What?
Broken in half.
I think it's the best way I can paint a picture with words of what Daniel and his giant body's going to go to Lacey's non-athletic,
Patrick,
somewhat doughy body.
Stumbled over those words, and Pat was like,
"Hold on,
she's doughy." Did you say she's doughy?
I mean, it's not doughy. It's just there's no muscle tone. It's just.
It's almost like she's a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go.
Hey, hot take here. This fucking show.
I'm ready for one of those.
This Bachelor in Paradise. I've been complaining about it for the entire season.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this season, they played a trailer with, I think we identified Daniel in like leopard underwear, climbing on top of a chick.
Yep.
And I quote saying something along the lines of, making a sex tape can make you a star. And it was him, and I believe it was Lacey. We never saw that scene during the season.
We never did.
It's like fucking Rogue One, the trailer. They had a fucking TIE fighter ready to destroy Jerso. And fucking that wasn't in the movie.
He's so into Star Wars.
I don't know that reference, but I feel like the people that do are gonna love that. That's the stuff we bring to the table.
He is a master of trivia. Star Wars Episode 1.
Yes.
What was it called?
Phantom Menace.
So that came along with a condescending look. That answer.
Okay, can I just say that this is a little disillusioned once we get to the after show of what happens on this island, but they are my favorite couple on this island.
Even though we won't change his Facebook status.
No, but I think they're wonderful together. I wish they worked, but they don't. He wanted to have sex with her, and he didn't want to talk to her. Which is sad because Lacey's great.
So Lacey basically tells him, I want to be in a committed relationship. If he says he wants to get married tonight or proposes, I'm pretty much down. Yeah. Daniel acts normal sitting on that couch. And basically, I guess for the time being, is kind of normal.
It was heartwarming.
And he says, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. And then they cut out, and that's the last time we see them. And we think they're going to go off to the altar, and we'll see them on next season in Bachelor in Paradise, and they'll be getting married.
I really, really wish that was the case, but alas, it is not. Hey, do you want to move on to Taylor and Derek?
They're boring. I'd love to skip over them, but we have to discuss them.
Because the topic of sex is broached in such a bizarre way.
It would just destroy my boner. There's no way you could have a talk like that about it and still be excited.
I think you'd do just fine.
But like temporarily it would kill it.
Well, okay.
You bitch!
Again, I'm confused by the premise of this entire social experiment of Bachelor in Paradise. Are these people not having sex with one another?
They are. I think they're just like, it's a ruse. They're just putting more emphasis on this.
Okay, because Taylor says at some point, like, sex is important to getting to know one another.
I don't think she had sex with Derek.
Well, she also says, she'll see after the sex if this is going in the direction of love, which would insinuate that they have not.
But I think other couples did.
Hold on. I have one other thought. If sex was not happening and these girls were being a bunch of ladies who weren't prepared or ready emotionally to have sex with the guys they're kind of dating on the island, I understand why Iggy and all those other weirdos were just off drinking all day and playing beer pong. It's like, nah, these girls aren't going to have sex with us. Like, let's just go hang out, drink free alcohol.
Iggy was backed into a corner because no one found him physically or mentally attractive in any way, shape, or form, which is the right call.
Guys, I've got breaking news.
Breaking news?
What's up?
Iggy on his Instagram has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's gross. Someone is cozying up to that swarmy, shiny.
Could you imagine
wet body?
Could you imagine being the type of person, like being in the brain momentarily of the person who finds Iggy attractive and wants to spend lots of time with him?
And him talking.
What is that like?
Or like he's so happy to have a girlfriend in the beginning, and then he gets a call from some other Bachelor guys he was on the season with, and they're going, "Hey, dude, we're all going on a cruise, man. There's gonna be a ton of bitches there. You think Iggy isn't getting on an airplane going to Vegas?
Be there in 2 seconds.
And bye, girlfriend.
Be there in 2 seconds.
Scumbag.
I'm really excited to see I shouldn't say really excited, but in 20 years we'll find some article. It's like, where are these assholes now? Oh, Robbie killed himself.
And Iggy will also be dead of a massive heart attack from the roids he's injecting, evidently into his testicles. We've learned.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, just get enough.
Last goddamn couple.
She says they have a couple different areas that they need to have new experiences in. Sex is a way to fall deeper in love with somebody. Just so weird talking about it like that. And she tells it to him, and he's like, listen, I completely understand where you're coming from. I agree with you. I think that sex is the next step. I think we should. Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
There's no way. There is no way I would be her fake boyfriend for fucking 5 weeks, making out with her in a jacuzzi and not having sex with her. I would dump her so fast. I'd be hanging out with Iggy. That's how sick of her I'd be. I'd be fucking playing beer pong with Iggy and that little short guy.
Let's just say she's not Patrick's cup of tea.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I respect how your journalistic integrity, you don't allow the fact that she's been a guest in this show to influence your critique of her in any way, shape, or form. It's impressive.
Can we talk about Adam and Raven and get in the studio, which was my favorite part of the whole?
Yeah, he bothers me. Sometimes he sounds like he's from Texas, but he's absolutely not. I think he's from the Valley.
Who, Adam?
Yeah, I think he's just from the San Fernando Valley, but he's got some drawl.
He's doing that personality mirroring thing, being around Raven all the time.
When you're with someone for a while, you pick up on like words they say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When he asked her if she wanted to go to the fantasy suite, do you think she really made him wait that out that long? Or was that just
fucking way.
Yeah.
No way.
Do you want to take a quick iTunes ratings and reviews break? We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. You need to catch me up on some stuff that's been happening in those ratings and review section.
Not great news, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I've heard that. Hey, Pat.
Yeah, Dale.
How you doing?
I don't know, dude. Come on.
You don't know how you're doing. You need to get more in touch with your feelings.
Why do you not know how you're doing?
Well, we got a review this week. We only got one.
I'm more interested in...
Reviews are good.
I heard that it was not good.
Well, it was good in one sense.
Yeah.
As the audience knows, fans of the show, we only accept 1 or 5-star reviews.
Right.
We do not accept 4s, 3s, 2s. We got 1 star.
You said that you wanted that. You said that you wanted the nation spellbound or
disillusioned or they hate us. This person hates us. Her name's Rachel. Rachel6634. This review was left very recently. She says, it starts with, couldn't get through any of it. 1 star.
Well, that seems not enough to give a full review on, but continue.
There are so many funny ways to go about making fun of these shows / contestants. Not sure why their go-to jokes are sexist and demeaning.
Yeah, I'm with her.
Although she puts in an ad here, try the Bachelor pod.
That I don't like, but I agree with her 100%. I think we can all grow as podcasters and as men, but do not come onto our platform, our channel on iTunes, and promote other podcasts.
And also, I don't agree with the gripe. I will say that we are aggressive and we are sometimes blue, off color, what have you. Yeah. But I dissect, and all of us do, the men's physiques and physical appearance and role in society just as we do the women.
It's sexist and demeaning.
It's not sexist and demeaning, because that would be say one is better than the other. We treat all of these people like pieces of meat. That's not sexism.
Don't ever promote another podcast on this page again. Rachel6634.
Nailed it.
You did.
Gentlemen, I don't want to live in a world where some mother of 2 small children can leave her 2 small children for months at a time, 4 times, and us not call her out and call her a dumb bitch. Because I know on other podcasts like the Bachelor pod can say, she's not a nice person for leaving her children. You guys are insane. She is a fucking bitch and a horrible mother. And that's what we do in this podcast. We call it like it is. And many of you listening always say, you say what we are actually thinking, and we get to say it for you. And let me move on here. I also don't want to live in a world where some idiot that is a fucking sex addict walks around on a goddamn beach playing mind tricks with some poor girl born in Russia eating fucking cosmetics, loving him, and then playing her heart. We don't call that guy a fucking piece of shit? No, on your podcast, the Bachelor pod, I guess we say he's not a nice guy. But on our podcast, we say he's a fucking asshole, a scumbag, and a fucking douchebag. And because that's what he is. I don't want to live in a world where some girl who's chosen as the bachelorette, who happens to be black, makes it about race, saying that she's worried about what people will think on the choices she's making because she's picking 2 white guys. What? You're worried about the black community and what they're going to think when you choose 2 white guys? Dare I say that's racist? But you're going to call me a racist in this goddamn world? Fuck you! This show is about saying real shit. You know what, bitch, Rachel? You went to dinner with your husband?
No way.
Do you want to hear what the couple that just went out to dinner with you think when they're in the car driving home? They're saying, Rachel's really annoying and very opinionated. In America, this is what we do. We say what we think. And our podcast is about what we think. And we will continue to do this. So, Rachel, I'm going to say this. I'm only going to say it once, and it's going to come up very offensive. Suck my dick and swallow. Take that, Rachel. Take your 1 star and walk back to the Bachelor pod, where they only have 38 reviews. And they're behind a paywall. Did I mention that? They're behind a Patreon. And I bet you're part of their little... You're actually probably the host of that show. And let me get out of here. Harp!
I hate that you said swallow.
That was the line for you.
Paradise is over. We gotta head to the studio. Live studio audience in Los Angeles, California, hosted by Chris Harrison.
I just love how Dean got booed.
Getting ahead of ourselves. First, we have to talk.
Not really. The studio starts and they cut to Dean and I'm like see him and he puts his thumbs down.
Yeah.
And then you hear boo, boo, boo.
I believe Patrick was alluding there to the Princess Bride.
That's right.
I'm not gonna let a Princess Bride reference get past me.
I'm a fan of that movie. I have no fucking idea what just happened. But first, we sit down with Corinne Olympius.
I thought we were done with that worthless piece of shit. Corinne taken. No. She deserves it.
I've said terrible things about her. Things I regret.
Rightly so. Don't regret this. Okay. So they invite Corinne out again. I don't know why she needs to come to this thing.
I don't know why we need to see anything from either of these two ever again.
Well, apparently it's because we've never sat them down on the same couch with each other. We've had them separately.
I love that Chris asks Corinne for her permission to bring DeMario out.
Oh, like she said no. Hey, DeMario, stay back there.
In a moment.
Another huge time consent was brought to the stage, but I disagree with you guys. I was riveted. I thought at any moment they could start fucking. Like they're crazy. They're 2 crazy characters.
Okay. Chris Harrison's first question says, hey, how have you been being here the last time? She said, the response has been good.
Not from me.
Or anyone that's breathing and has a brain.
That's a lot.
Corinne says she'd love to see DeMario when Chris Harrison prompts, is it okay if we bring him out here?
Yeah.
So he comes out. It's weird right off the top. Now, here I have some notes here.
Here I've got some notes here.
Chris Harrison, I don't know if this was a question, were they talking? Corinne says right off the bat, she wished they could have communicated or reached out to each other during all this. Now, hold on. DeMario did reach out to her. He said during his interview with Chris a few weeks back, he messaged her a few times saying, hey, isn't this crazy? Us in the pool caused all this. And he said she did not respond back. She fucking went radio silence on his fucking ass. That means she's a lying bitch right off the top. He did reach out to you, bitch. You're the one who cut off communication with him. Don't come out here and say, I wish we could have talked.
Oh, man, if you guys could see his hands right now.
Now, the second thing I have a problem with.
Yeah, Pat.
He asked, again, a Harrison prompt. He was trying to be an interviewer. What really happened? She said, well, Chris, I surrounded myself with people that didn't really know the real situation. No. Okay, Corinne, why did you allow 5 lawyers around you saying that what happened to you was you were a victim and it was unfortunate, and now you've surrounded yourself with people that are here to help you, meaning lawyers that are going to sue the shit out of these people. It was their fault for surrounding themselves around you. Corinne, you have a brain. You were awake for those 2 days.
I still think that the greatest mystery come of all this is that freaking drug she was on it.
The mystery pill.
It presents you as stone cold sober, but you're blacked out. That sounds like a Harry Potter.
I've heard of the mythical modafinil, also known as the limitless drug that's often used in Silicon Valley and Wall Street. This sounds like the exact opposite of that. It's just for partying.
I was going to order me some of that.
Modafinil?
Yeah.
It sounds dope.
One final note on this horrible person and her little final, hopefully her curtain call on TV. And please, Nick, you mentioned earlier we were having a conversation off mic. There's some sports Bachelor show coming up in the winter.
The Bachelor Winter Games.
Please don't let her on this. Okay, so here's my final note.
God.
Harrison asks Corinne, how are things these days? And Corinne says, gleefully, the clouds have parted, and now it's sunny, Chris. The audience applause. And then I'm thinking, yeah, right. Let's Google search DeMario's name in 20 years, and when rapist comes up, it's not sunny for him, bitch. How about an apology, a public apology saying, hey, look, this man didn't do anything to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that, I fucked up and hired a bunch of lawyers. DeMario, I am sorry. I hope this doesn't affect you in your life.
None of it. She has no remorse whatsoever. She's just she's a dunce.
That's the nicest thing you could ever say. She's dumb and that's why she does this.
We have talked ad nauseum about how horrible this human being is. It remains to be seen whether or not she will grow out of the disgusting stage that she is in life. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Dylan, when you were 24, were you this shitty? I don't think so. Did you have to grow out of being a horrible person?
Kind of. But also,
actually, me too.
I did my share of things. I'm 29, but I can say I've never accused a black man of raping me.
How about those Vegas twins? Those are whores.
Okay.
The twins during this studio thing, when they cut to them, the audience applauds. They play a video of their short stay on the island where they basically call Jack Stone, you're a loser. Why did I even pick you? Like we'd even be with you. You're such a fucking loser. You're lower than the earth. I'm out. And the audience you go, girl. Like, what are we talking about here?
They're wretched little creatures.
Apparently not with the audience.
Well, yeah, they're fan favorites for some reason.
Can we get to that little fight between...
I was just going to say, we got some social media feuds. Jasmine has a fair amount of animosity towards Kristen that is left over from that island port of Ireland.
Pretty unnecessary, if you ask me. I feel like Kristen definitely never at any point tried to do anything that would get Jasmine on her bad side, but to no avail.
Yeah, no.
She is in her crosshairs.
It's not going to work out.
You know, I actually I have a trigger word for me that makes me feel weird, which is the word bullying. I love Scallops. She's grown on me. I used to call her homely little rat.
Me too.
No, I think she's
cute.
cute.
I didn't call her that. You always did, but I really like her.
Right. But apparently Jasmine was harassing her or quote unquote bullying her on the S Meads. And I always think that's weird because I come from a kind of a tough town. And bullying, salty. Bullying used to mean, and by the way, you wouldn't even complain about this. I was tackled at one point during football practice. They ripped my underwear off. It ripped my asshole, and then they twisted my titties so they turned purple. The point is, that's bullying.
They must have been playing Smear the Queer.
Dean comes out there, and he looks like he's gotten a little bit of, he's gotten a shot of humility. No.
He's gotten booed, and he already knows he's hated. Like I already mentioned earlier, when he is on the dais and the audience, when they announce his name, people boo. He gives the thumbs down, like he knows he's getting booed and hated.
I'm gonna gift that him booing it. I'm gonna turn it into memes. Check it out on the Another Bachelor Podcast Instagram. He booed himself, because he knew he's a piece of shit. It's become very apparent.
Right off the bat, I love how we get D-Lo and Lipstick. And D-Lo says basically Dean was miscommunicating the entire time. Now, we saw it on film. Dean was basically telling one girl one thing, the other girl another thing.
We have a reel of him saying Christina is so much smarter, but D-Lo is so hot. He says that on national television.
He was the real life version of someone in like a sitcom running back and forth between two restaurants. Right. He did that on the island.
By the way, great moment of the night. Douche moment of the night. We should have a douche award of the night.
Last episode, but maybe later.
Yeah. All right, so Lipstick and D-Lo are talking. Some of the other girls are interjecting. It's starting to get heated on a certain level. And Dean goes, hey.
I didn't see that.
I'm the one to blame here.
Well,
ladies, stop fighting.
That was in the beginning of the show, but when the heat really came down on him was when Danielle.
Oh, no, I'm saying this is him earlier on the show thinking he can handle this. He can, fix this. That's what a narcissist does. All right, I fucked all these bitches over. I can figure this out. I'll play the nice guy. Ladies, stop fighting. That's what he was doing there. He did actually say, ladies, I'm to blame here. Oh, no, Dean. We're just getting started with you, motherfucker.
We have to talk about Dean's indecisiveness.
D-Lo drops a bomb on us.
Yeah.
That not an hour after he kicked her off and said he still had feelings for Christina.
Loved Christina.
He called her up and told her he wanted to make it work. Here was my hot take that earlier.
Unbelievable.
I could not rein myself in, but somehow I did, that I waited for this moment to. I think
I'm proud of you.
That whole thing saying how he felt for Christina and he thought it was best if we leave here separately was to set up, just leave that window cracked, that he could still get with Christina eventually, knowing this whole time, within 60 minutes, he would call Danielle and admit to her as much that he was only doing it to protect Christina's heart.
I love it. I love that take. That's a hot take.
The whole time he was planning on tagging both, and it came out that he did.
Yeah. I love that he gets very, very, very red while he's
he does.
There is nothing that you can say to get out of that situation. And that's why he's a moron, because he's setting himself up for failure. He either doesn't care or he is lacking foresight. If you're going to fuck around with these girls, you're going to have to be back on this show with them. Like, what are you thinking? What do you think is going to happen when you get in front of them?
I think
and D'Lo says that you texted her an hour after you kicked her off the show. What is going to happen?
All right, so
did you not think that through?
Most upsetting moment of the night, though, was Lipstick when, in a Russian voice or Czechoslovakian voice or whatever she's talking, she goes, "Ding, you always still have a place in my heart." Why?
Yeah.
Why Lipstick?
I know. Christina has been frustrating because she's bright. She's a good human being, but she, for some reason, was duped by that dummy. Let's get to another dummy. Somebody who I'm convinced may have like he's just like a tiny bit on the spectrum. I think Robbie is, I don't know, concerning. They bring Amanda out, and it's revealed that she was just like, I didn't see a future with him, but when we got back, I was like, oh, what the fuck?
No, actually, she said something like, this is what's always weird. When I watch like murder mysteries on Dateline, they always fool me because they'll like interview the woman that almost got murdered and go, in the beginning, we were in love. He made me avocado toast every day, and like everything was good. Like, and then you find out later on in the episode, he tried to murder her. Like during the interview, you're not at all like trying. Why are you pretending that this guy was such a nice guy? Amanda did this. She treats like Robbie like he was the sweetest guy. What she was just way she was describing it was like, he is so sweet. He made me breakfast every morning. And then 5 minutes later, we find out the real Robbie and what went down.
It's just bizarre that, like, he comes out and then the twins start nipping at him because they love Amanda because they're all on the same level, says the guy who calls Puerto Vallarta an island.
Are you saying that Amanda is also a do-nothing trailer trash Vegas bottle service whore?
Not quite, because she is not from Las Vegas. But if you want to swap San Diego out or whatever.
Irvine.
But no, you're right. Both the twins start bringing up the evidence that he may or may not have cheated on it. And Amanda did not want to believe it.
I have some thoughts on this. That photo was taken in Colorado, which I think is interesting because as we've had some guests from last season, we used to have guests that were on this show, and they told us, especially the males, that the pussy that you get when you go to these small towns that are outside of LA or New York is off the fucking charts. Yeah. So Robbie was obviously doing probably some club gig or something. They paid him $1,000 to show up some shit kicker town at some club and go, this guy was on The Bachelor, and then he nails some chick and takes a photo with her because he's an idiot.
When they brought up the photograph, Amanda, she was very calm about it, but she was like, I mean, it looked pretty clear you were kissing someone. But okay, whatever, fine. I'll believe you. And he never have I been more convinced this man is on cocaine. He just all of a sudden, I'm actually, I don't do this often, but I'm going to hit us with a clip.
Yeah.
The picture did look like y'all were making it. Let's be honest.
It
looked like it. Maybe you, I don't know.
Okay.
It did look like it though. But, you know, he was there, not me.
Here we go, huh?
His meter was off.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
Whoa! That was so out of place.
No one clapped. It was just silence.
When you catch a rat in a cage, that's when you see the real makeup of that rat.
That's one of the worst quotes.
When you catch a rat in a cage.
That's one of the worst quotes I've ever heard.
No, he was just so intense and like ready to make it. He was so coke fueled that in his mind they were at a different speed, and she was like, "Okay, fine, whatever." And here we go. That got him fired up. But also, when you catch that rat in the cage, they will do rat-like activities.
I appreciate you.
When you give mouse to a rat, a mouse will eat the cheese.
You know what? We need to move on to Daniel and Lacey because very, very.
It is getting hot in here.
Very,
not too hot, but it is almost.
Yeah, no, it's getting hot. We gotta get out of here. It is a different tale when we see Daniel and Lacey in Los Angeles. I'm very proud of Lacey in this moment, but also insane that you thought you were going to get married to this man. But he essentially comes out and is like, "What do you think? Like we're gonna be a couple after like 5 days of knowing each other?" And in the fantasy suite, he's like, "I don't want you to date anyone else." And I love the fact that he just hung out with her for an hour and then insisted that his friend hang out with him. Like, that is such a stupid.
They reference Vinny. Vinny wasn't the Vinny that was on the season earlier, was it?
Yes.
Him and Daniel Buds, that's fun.
Yeah, that would be a fun duo.
He gets caught in a lie. He didn't want her. He's insane. He has Asperger's, right?
He's got one of those.
Tourette's or something.
No, it's like a big brain, like a big forehead, and his forehead's kind of translucent, and his eyebrows are real low on his face, and he's got this weird thing going on where he doesn't really like empathize.
He has no feelings for others.
Yeah,
that's Asperger's, by the way.
Oh, I don't.
You don't.
I don't know if that's Asperger's. Do you know how to spell it, by the way?
No.
Try it. Give it a shot.
ABS.
What?
ERGER.
You just failed the sobriety test, sir. We're gonna have to cuff you.
Oh, really? Can you imagine if that's a sobriety test? Like, fuck that. I'd rather spell the alphabet backward.
The ASP.
Absolutely have to move on to Raven and Adam. They're doing fine. To me, this is just to me.
They want to.
The optics of the situation looks like Raven wants no part of this, but I could be wrong entirely. They could have a genuine relationship, and that would be very cynical of me to believe that. But I wholeheartedly do.
Adam says they have a path to Carly and Evan's romance.
Yeah. What say you?
I feel like their romance is not real, and Raven is really the one that is not into it.
No.
Her enthusiasm is not there.
No.
Should we talk about the orgasm clip?
Orgasm clip?
Yeah, you know that time when he wakes up.
You said that inaudibly. I am the only person that knew what word you said.
He wakes up in the morning and he's all sprightly because he got his newt.
His nut, he was saying.
The previous evening.
Yes, he was super excited about the goings-on of the previous evening, and he said, last night was amazing. And she, deadpan, said, I'm glad someone thought so. She was like Don Rickles. She just burned him.
She burned him real bad. And also,
nothing should make you more uncomfortable on national TV than a lady admitting that you did not please her. And she just laughed it off in studio.
That would be very, very uncomfortable. But even more uncomfortable would be trying to pretend like you don't know that Raven's normie folks are backstage. They're all like in this ruse, like, hey, has Adam ever met your parents before? How about right now? Bring him out. Then they just stand on stage with each other for like 5 minutes.
I know we complained about them, but I would have taken another look back to not see these people on stage. I am just glad we did not have to hear them talk. I was not stoked about meeting the rents.
By the way, both her parents were really fat, so that didn't let me down. I knew that was coming.
It was pretty typical of what you'll find in the rural South. But I will say also, I will say that Jasmine really annoyed me during this iteration.
Standing up, cheering.
She feels the need to insert herself in the situation and yelling out Tracy. Yelling out, Tracy. Tracy doesn't give a fuck about you. She's like, why do you keep bringing her down here?
Who is Tracy? Raven's mom.
Raven's mother. She kept yelling, Tracy, like her, to prove that she had...
It's about me, bitch.
Stop it.
It's about me, bitch.
Our inferior audio equipment could not handle peaking from the clapping.
I'm not to blame for that, dude.
Okay.
We established you are in our world.
We have to talk about Taylor and Derek, who are nauseating.
Do we have to?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Derek comes out there and, they chat about how in love they are. And then he says, I've been searching for my equal. And I found that in you. I've built a fire for you. But I know you could do it on your own. You're an independent woman.
You have to tiptoe around the triggers that are Taylor.
Has Stockholm syndrome. He is a weak, emasculated man at this point. She hasn't even begun on this guy. This guy's going to be cowering in a corner by the time he's 65.
But you know what? She also has a little bit of that in the movie, The Wedding Stealers, or what's that movie with Vince Vaughn?
Wedding Crashers. I also thought you might be referring to Wedding Singer.
In that,
you said
shut up.
Would one steal a wedding?
No, you're like a hotter bride, and you're like
Okay.
a hotter bride, and the groom marries you instead.
Oh,
on
okay,
that
I
day.
like that. Yeah.
In that movie, Wedding Crashers, Vince Vaughn was dating that little redheaded, hot little chick.
Isla Fisher.
I will find
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, get through it, Pat.
Taylor
Yeah.
is kind of that girl.
Yeah, but
Because at some point, while she is like with all the heady shit, she will also say, right at the beginning of this, when they sat her down on the couch, Harrison goes like, how'd it go on that last night? She said, well, I have to say, I took all of Derek in me. And then she gets all heady on us. So what is it?
there is a proposal. He gets down on one knee, and I feel like this is going to be a little spot of contention between us because I want to place another bet on this relationship.
I was hurling into my dog's water bowl at this point. Go ahead. What's the wager?
Don't believe it. To me, she looks like she is devastated, visibly devastated. I could be wrong about that, though. She does smile at the end. But when he gets down on one knee, you can see the, what the fuck am I doing in her face a little bit. That's just me.
I'm the other way. I was touched by the proposal. I'm not saying I think it's going to last. I think he will eventually be the one to be like, I can't have sex, missionary, one more goddamn time.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to move on.
Guys, 5 weeks is not enough time to figure out who
They're
your
done
partner's
by
gonna be.
December.
Oh, you're going to go that far?
They're done by the end of the year.
You did this last year.
No, I didn't. I had faith that Vanessa and Nick would last a year. I bet the longest. So you saying that I did that last year, it's couldn't be further from the truth.
You know,
You said right around the holidays.
the audience loves when we do this.
Oh, is that what you're
Why
saying?
not take a wager? You know, we had Taylor in the studio. She is a friend of the show, but we can't let that inhibit us from giving us our real opinions on what we think about her and that guy. There is no way they're going to make the long haul, but I'm torn because they like to be on TV. So, God damn it, what do I do?
He goes through with it. He regrets it. It's going to get messy for the probably the Nolans. He'll probably have to adopt her name.
Yeah.
It's going to get messy for the future.
You're saying they go through it and get married.
Yep.
So that's the wager now, not how long they stick together. Do they get married?
I guess it is.
I say absolutely not, and done by 2019. 100%. 100%. We can talk to her when she comes back on the show.
If she has ever listened to this, she will not be coming back.
Patrick,
Yeah.
how was it for you?
All right, so I want to say this. We started this journey in January with Nick Vile, and then we moved on to Rachel,
Yep.
and then we hit The Bachelor. This is 8 months. This is a lot of time.
Yeah.
This is a lot of time for you guys listening to hear our take on these things.
Yeah. It's so weird that there are as many of you as there are listening to us talk about this show. And
I think we're pretty good, though. I listen to our show at least 4 times ever. I enjoy it.
Between the years.
I understand why they. Okay. Anyway, I want to say this. I can't wait to get fired back up. And when's it all start again?
It's got to be right around Olympic time.
Winter Olympic time?
Winter Olympic time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm there, dudes. Guys, can we let the fans know that the 3 of us will be reuniting? I don't know when it starts back up, but can we commit right now to let them know that we will do this again? We will at some point. Maybe we'll build the studio up again. I don't have that kind of money, but
yeah, we are not going to do anything. Me and Nick lit no candles. We brought no jacuzzis into the studio. We did not burn it down.
To be fair, you guys did. You told me you didn't want a jacuzzi in there.
Thank you. That's all we were looking for.
Little victory. Guys, we cannot thank you enough for listening to this entire season of this show.
I want to end this season. I'm going to adopt a phrase Jack Stone said. I want to walk hand in hand with you guys out of this studio.
That is so fucking beautiful. It is so unbelievably hot.
It's very, very hot.
I weep, but my eyebrows are singed.
Hot to go. It is so hot. My name is Dylan. Saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
I will miss all of you.
Didn't say goodbye.
All right, goodbye.
Different.